Eleanor Kerrigan.
Hi.
Good to see you. She's filling in for Gina Grad and Bald Brian.
Go fuck yourself.
Eleanor.
That's quite a welcome. That feels good.
Quite accomplished stand-up comedian. Got a comedy album out called Lady Likes, available wherever you listen to music. Dates coming up. Originally from South Philly.
Yeah, it says it on my shirt, just in case you forgot.
One of 10 kids.
Yes.
Engaged to Andrew Dice Clay.
I make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, Andrew Dice Clay's an interesting guy because I think people hated him and then people loved him later on, and I'm not sure what his social standing is. But
I love him.
But a better actor than people thought.
Yeah, and I think people started to accept him oh, he can act. It's like he could always act, you know.
Well, he was probably acting when we hated him as the Dice Man, right?
Yeah. I didn't hate him. I have 6 brothers. They made me listen to him on repeat. So when I brought him home, they were more excited than anybody, you know. It
is interesting, though, that we're not really, as a society, sophisticated enough to understand when someone is doing a character.
Comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be maybe Andrew might be to the right of the aisle, and maybe Borat would be toward the left of the aisle. But we're equally as flummoxed. What's he doing? You know what I mean? He's an actor doing a bit.
My mom said, "Is that the guy who puts a cigarette in his ear?" I'm like, I don't think it goes in his ear, but yeah, you're right. She's like, he's dirty.
So he encouraged you to get into stand-up, or so I read.
He did. Well, what happened was I was a waitress at the Comedy Store for 12 years. And then my best friend passed away, and he was always telling me, I don't know if you knew Freddie Soto.
No, I don't think so.
So he was coming up and everything, and he was always telling me to get into stand-up. And I was like, yeah, misery loves company, whatever. And so I just never did it. And at the Comedy Store, I would hold court in the kitchen, just because you're always, when you're not a comic, you're freer, I guess. Okay. Comics are more strategic. I have more funny friends I have friends that are way funnier than I am. You know what I mean?
I know. And a lot of people...
They just don't go on stage.
Are they available this morning?
Yes.
Well,
I'll get them on. We can make some calls.
I'm sure there's a lot of guys who went to high school who had guys that were better athletes than they were, but they're still playing professional baseball now because they trained and they learned technique and 10,000 hours.
Tom Brady was not the best athlete at high school.
You could say that again.
You know, I went to high school with Tom Brady. He was a year older than I was.
Oh,
but
really?
He wasn't the best. He was very, very good.
Did he cheat in school too?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
We always suspected.
Just asking.
But there were half a dozen other kids who were as good, if not better, athletes. But he had the drive and the vision.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're the ones that get on stage and do it. You know what I mean? But then I'll use what they say or shit we go through, and I'll make fun of them on stage, and then they're like, yo, that's my whatever. So I started doing stand-up. I started doing a one-woman show, and then Andrew came to see it because we were still really good friends. We didn't break up angry. It was, just grew apart, whatever. Sure. No big deal. And we're still best friends. And so he came to see me. He goes, you're doing stand-up, stupid. I thought it was doing a one-woman show. Because I had such a high regard for stand-up, especially working at the store for 12 years, watching Mitzi showcase people time and time again. I saw the greatest comics in the world and some of the worst you'll ever see and never see in your life again, hopefully. You know what I mean? You just see that. So
it was funny. I was talking to Leno on this program last week, and he was kind of explaining that Mitzi, although she's revered, had a lot of ideas about a lot of guys and what they should do. You should wear a yellow suit and be the banana man. You know what I mean?
That's Jackie Banana. Yeah.
And she's telling guys who are funny, who go, I could just...
Louis Anderson, she'd be like, you should wear a sweater. That's great. You should be a sweater comic. It's so silly. She was like a wrestling manager.
But there's
Like,
already
It's like
Kid
Vince
Cardigan.
McMahon, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I say she's like. She could like because she would have like theme shows that would never happen now.
Oh, like the
Arabian
Black
Nights.
or
Oh, we had Arabian Nights.
Nights.
She really believed she
Yeah.
was going to bring peace to the Middle East
Had,
by
like-
having Arabian Nights.
like Taco Tuesdays
Yes,
with
Taco
Carlos
Tuesday.
Mencia and you know, like
a lot of fake Mexicans.
they do a lot of like theme stuff that doesn't.
It really
probably-
would. We
Yeah,
had Night of 1,000 Guidos, and she used to make me put the little red and white tablecloths
yeah.
on all the tables in the main room of the Comedy Store. You know how many?
It's kind
Oh
of
my
the
God.
like pimp and hoe themed
Yeah,
costume
totally.
parties from a frat party from the
Exactly.
90s that everyone thought was pretty innocuous, but now
But
through
she
the lens
she
of
meant
history,
no harm. She
No.
thought it was. I don't know. That was just her idea of.
Well, I mean, maybe she had a little P.T. Barnum in her. Like maybe
Okay.
she didn't. She wasn't. She was there. Maybe not as a godmother to the comedians, but maybe as a person that picked themes and told people what to wear.
Or
And
trying
was,
to guide them and make. Well, she was also casting for a while on,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was CBS. So she did have a little control. And then they would say, "We want this person," and she would go, "Yeah, but you should see this person."
oh, right.
always
she's
go
like,
around.
she's like a little bit of a publicist too.
Kind of a little.
I had this thought.
It's Sunday.
This weird thought. I was down at the beach over the weekend, and I looked up and I saw a seagull just sitting up there, sitting on the perch.
Story checks out.
He's looking so far. You believe it?
I'm with you.
I'm following.
I'll stipulate these facts.
Then
Was Clay Aiken there or
I looked
no?
to my right and I saw sand. And I looked to my left, I saw a hillside.
The plot thickens.
So you know what direction I was going. But I had this bizarre thought, which was, you know, seagulls are just buzzing around looking for French fries and Doritos and shit.
Okay.
But I thought, I bet seagulls have been around for like 2 billion years, but
Okay.
French fries are only like
Yeah.
40 years old. What the fuck did seagulls eat?
What do they poach?
So you think their digestive system?
I'm
is,
saying
you're
they're
worried
like-
about their digestive
What
system.
the fuck did a seagull eat 250 years
The
ago
first
or
millennia.
1,000 years
Yeah.
ago?
What are they
Right.
scavenging?
And then aren't their ancestors pissed? Like we used to go and hunt.
back in
We'd
my
kill
day-
fish. We'd gut them. We'd clean them. We'd feed the village. And you pussies hang around just looking for a Funyun?
looking for a hot dog to take out of a kid's hand.
You
Yes.
seagulls today, like that's how they were talking to their
When people would talk to us like about us, like they talked about hawks and
Yeah.
eagles and birds of prey.
Wow.
And
In our day.
now we're just fucking dumpster diving with them like homeless birds.
Yeah, it's homeless birds. Yes, that's
They're the
amazing.
homeless of the birds, the seagulls. What? And then I start thinking,
They're-
what do they eat? Do they eat like sardines? Like if we just said no more French fries, no more snacks at the beach, no more
Yeah.
dumpsters, no more hot hamburger buns that have been thrown out or whatever. Have you ever seen a seagull hunting or
No.
like going and eating something that it
No,
made?
I don't watch them. I don't pay attention to them at
Well, you-
all
you
unless
really
they come
need to
close.
wake up.
And then-
They're
I'm
the-
not woke.
this
I'm
is the-
sorry.
The entitled generation of seagulls is right now, right? Like before, they could have been great birds of prey, but in fact, they're like the kids of rich people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
They-
okay.
They don't have the drive. They don't have like there's
It's a
metaphor.
metaphor for the welfare state.
Exactly. There's
Ooh.
1,000 French
Okay.
fries on the
They
beach.
were proud birds
should
of
use
prey,
them.
and now they're just hanging out on top of a wall,
Sucking
waiting
off
for
the-
someone to drop a French fry.
Waiting for a fat kid to drop a French fry. They don't drop them though.
That's going to say fat kids.
They never drop them.
No, that's how
So
they
those
get
are
that
gonna-
status. But back to fat.
Back to fat. Yeah. I've
So-
been fat. I've been thin. I've been not like obese, but you gain.
But could you imagine 110 pounds on
That's
that
tough.
frame of yours,
That's
and then
tough.
feeling good about yourself, whatever shape you're in? So basically, what I'm saying is if you're fat, you're unhealthy, you need to work on it.
Right.
Do not have a little shame. Little
I
shame
agree
can be
with shame.
effective, and it's not that much different. And I would argue maybe even worse if you think about it. Then what if you just started doing that with grades? Like I'm a D- student. I'm a piece of shit student, but I'm proud of it.
great
Like,
proud.
I own
They've
it.
been
Like,
doing that, by the way.
I know this is the new world order.
Yeah,
Like,
my sister used to be a teacher and she quit because of this.
oh, really?
Yeah, because there's no kid left behind or whatever kind of BS that was.
Right.
Like, and she would have to like certain kids. They were like, you can't fail them, so you just have to give them a better grade. I also have a nephew that's a nurse, and he teaches. He got his doctorate in nursing, so he teaches nursing. And they're like, yeah, he goes, we need nurses, so you just have to pass them. You just have to do it. So yeah,
right.
we're good. We're in good hands, guys. Everything's working out. I hope those seagulls eat me soon. I gotta be honest.
I'll tell you where to go.
I'll lose more weight and look like a French fry and see if they could take me up.
It is a little.
It's getting real bad.
Well, it's kind of one thing when they push along the student, but when they starts bleeding into pushing along nurses and pilots and things
it's
like
there.
that, and we're fucked.
It's a
We're
life
fucked.
and death situation.
Did your sister used to teach? What grades?
I think it was fifth or fourth or something like that. But it was early education. She was so angry because she would try to talk to the parents, and then the parents were like, "Too bad, figure it out. That's your job." And she's like, "Wait, what? Like, you got to help too. You know, I'm doing what I'm doing." And she just left. She couldn't take it, so she.
It strikes me. You got 9 siblings.
Yeah.
You got it, and this
Nobody
is good.
pulls out.
This is good for
Yeah.
you, though. You got a teacher. You got a nurse.
Yeah.
Right.
I got a
You need a
Minnesota
cop.
Twins baseball player.
Oh, I wanted to get into that.
Yeah, my nephew Jimmy.
Kirby Puckett. Oh, I want.
Oh, nice.
No, but so here's why you're. All right, everyone should do this.
Okay.
Okay. I have one sister, and all she does is fucking cut hair.
Okay.
But
we need her.
no. But maybe. But here's what I'm saying.
She's essential.
If you have a sister who's a school teacher, a brother who's a nurse, I'll just keep going. Like another brother's a cop.
Yeah.
Another brother is a firefighter. Then when people start getting in your grill about talking about this or talking about that, you go, hey, I have a brother who's a police officer, okay? Now, when I'm talking about Black Lives Matter, believe me, I'm thinking about my brother. My brother told me they always get, like, you have to have is one cop,
reference.
one fireman, one teacher, and they just fucking tell you something, and you go, listen, I love teachers. Believe me, I'm saying we should open schools. Now, don't give me any shit. My sister, you just point and you go, my sister, and then you get to say whatever the fuck you want because you're covered.
Well, yeah.
But I can't get into it with like the hair person.
Right.
What do you mean
Why
a round back instead of my sister cuts hair? Okay, so I think I can speak to this. It doesn't work.
You're right. It doesn't. But I go from experience. You know what I mean? Like what I hear from my circle, and I have a pretty big circle just because my family's grown so much.
So what are they? You got a sister who was
I have
a teacher?
3 sisters and I have 6 brothers.
Uh-huh.
So-
and you got
and-
one as a professional baseball player?
No, my nephew.
Oh, nephew. Sorry.
See, my brothers and sisters, we all did whatever we're doing, right? I can't say I don't have a cop. I don't have a lawyer. I don't have, they work. Okay. So they're bartenders. They're maintenance guys. Like they're blue collar, hardworking people. Their kids are on the come up. You know what I mean? Like my nephew's a nurse. My one nephew plays for the Minnesota Twins. My niece is a dancer. She's in a lot of shows. She's in Legends in Atlantic City, and now she's in Rhode Island. You know what I mean? Like, so she travels. My other niece
Hey, buddy. Eleanor Kerrigan's niece is hitting the stage.
Woo!
Yeah, she's
Get my kids.
Quit your grin and drop your linen. Hey, little observational humor, but what did seagulls eat before the advent of French fries? Hey, think about it. Jade, stage 4. I'll be back. The rest of that's a little quick. Andrew told me to get into stand-up. He came to strip club and he heard a lot of my observations about, the seagulls and other things, fat shaming and whatnot. I could probably do a solid 10. Jade, stage 7, Jade.
I love that.
That's how that would go.
That was like a recap and
Yeah, we brought it around,
Thank
didn't
you.
we? So
the kids are coming up.
Well, it's interesting, which is this generation, your brothers and sisters' children, they grew up thinking they could do what they wanted.
Sure. They gave him hope.
I grew up thinking, fireman, garbage man, policeman, like when they would
Whatever's available.
when whoever
Mailman
came
has man in the name.
yeah, like
Mailman.
career
Yeah.
day was just a guy showed up in a uniform and he was a fireman and he just
Sure.
explained maybe you could be a fireman.
My dad owned a typewriter store.
Really?
We didn't start off high. You know what I mean? Like he owned a typewriter store. We had to beg him to close it in 2010.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was like, "Why?" I was like, he literally would get mad. He'd be like, "Computers are a phase," and I'm like, "What?" Like,
Did he have any? Are there old school like there's the vinyl guys with music? They go, it's
Yeah, my dad
better,
has
it's
them.
better, vinyl is better. Like we're coming back. Are there? There's got to be writers who just swear by their old
Tom Hanks.
Oh, interesting.
typewriter. You know what I mean?
There's a lot that do that, but I remember I was in LA. I was struggling. My dad called me. He goes, "Hey, you know who Tom Hanks is?" I'm like, "Yeah, everybody does. Where are you? Like, did you go outside today? Like, what's happening?" And he goes, "What? His people came in. They wanted to buy. My dad has like one of the first typewriters. He has a lot of old typewriters, and they wanted to buy it. And they offered him money, and my dad was like, no." I'm like, dude, we're starving. Sell a typewriter. He wouldn't do it.
What year was this?
This was probably early 2000s.
Man of principle.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, maybe late 90s, but I definitely was in LA. I was probably a wrestler at the time, so maybe like late 90s, yeah.
Oh yeah, you wrestled.
I was a wrestler for Wow Women of Wrestling.
Oh,
I love
so
to
not the
fight.
gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
I'm not that old, but I thank you, Adam.
You're not a
for-
glow. You're not a glower. You're
I would
a
have
shower.
limped in here. I'm a shower.
You're a wower.
I'm a wower.
What?
It was in 2000.
What? How did that work?
I went to an audition. Obviously, I get the big auditions, and it was in a hotel room. So I was like, "This should be legit." And I met some of the greatest people I ever met in my life. They were doing a little show, wrestling show, and they whipped me into shape. I mean, I got my ass kicked. I was chain smoking since I was 9 years old. So I got the job because I went in there with a baseball bat. All I could think about was heels. Oh, there she is, Easy Rider, getting her ass kicked. But I went in there with a baseball bat. and
What
I'm
was your
hitting shit.
handle? What was your handle?
I was Easy Rider.
Oh, that's you, Easy
That's
Rider.
Me. Yeah, getting beat up.
In the jeans with the
Yep.
tattoo and the.
Well, it's a fake tattoo,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I could see that from here. Sadly.
So many people could. And my nieces would go out as me for Halloween. It was so
Oh,
cute.
really?
Yeah.
So Easy Rider was pretty big.
Well, the show was big. They were trying to gear it toward young girls, and then because it was all women, and when I told my mom that I got the job, she was like, "I'm so excited."
While we're watching
That's the
Easy
Bronco
Rider
Buster,
do
yeah.
the Bronco Buster.
There you
That's
go.
a good finisher.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, it didn't work out that well.
Sort of non-reverse cowgirl there.
There you go. She may have been eating me out, but I did lose that, I think. Yeah, I talked a lot of shit.
Oh, let's hear Easy Rider. Do we have Easy Rider talking?
With a trip to the hospital.
This show Joe Rogan came to. We used to film at the Forum in Inglewood.
Have a leg to stand on.
Wow.
And now,
Got a big crowd
it's
there.
Thug going after Selena. And Thug telling the rest of
It
the
was
gang
so
to go
much
after
fun.
the real deal.
Now, for the lady,
These two are the women that trained us,
I
Thug and
know.
Selena.
I know it's fake with dudes, but this looks real to me.
It's not fake. Why would you say it's fake?
I said
How
with
dare
dudes,
you?
with dudes. But the
No,
ladies,
it's
I believe.
Fake.
Oh. Let me
Selena-
ask this.
they're
I
amazing.
have a philosophical question.
Okay, this should be good.
I believe, and I also believe it's been sort of bored out in the media and everything. I think women are more violent than men, just from a wiring standpoint.
I think I am. I can't speak for all women, but I know I'm pretty bad. Like,
Here's this scenario.
okay.
If you mistakenly step on a guy's foot, the guy goes, dude,
Yeah.
women, an arm flash.
Sure. Reactively.
It's just boom. So if you're doing,
We wear better shoes, yes.
and you don't have as much toe protection.
Right.
I agree.
We're already in a shoe that's crushing our feet.
I've
Yeah.
factored all that in, but I still say
We're
you're
basically
more,
bound.
You're more reactive.
Yeah, 100%.
Now here's the question. I believe in male wrestling. They work it out. But every once in a while, someone catches an elbow on the bridge of the nose. Shit happens.
You get beat up pretty bad.
That's what I'm saying. But when if you tried to work it out with women and you caught them, do they ever go into real fight mode?
I'll be honest, I've been angry. That fight specifically, Selena, or was it that one? Yeah, the woman who was training me, she was training all of us. So she goes, hey, we're going to fight, but I'll just call it. I go, what do you mean call it? And I'm brand new. I grew up watching wrestling, but I don't know what that, I was like, she goes, I'm going to whisper in your ear what we're doing.
Uh-huh.
We're in the Forum in Inglewood. It's jam-packed. People are screaming. I can't hear what she's saying.
Right.
She went to hit me with a chair. I went to grab it thinking I was in a street fight, or in a bar or something. So I grabbed it. I broke my pinky.
Right.
I didn't hear what she said. I went to the wrong side. I had a hairline fracture in my collarbone. I got my ass kicked.
Yeah.
But in my head, there was times I was like, I got to that. But it's also, you're on TV and you're like, wait a minute.
You're a pro is what you're saying.
Exactly. You have to. I was a pro wrestler. When I told my mom, because I used to fight a lot as a kid, and I told my mom I got this wrestling show, I was on a cell phone and she was like, oh, that's so great. And I was like, really? Because she used to get so mad at me. And she's like, oh my God, they have great women characters. And I was like, they do? And I'm trying to scan my brain, like, what wrestling did she watch? And then I was like, I'm going to call you when I get home from a landline. You guys can Google that if you don't know what it is. And
well, your dad did rotary phone repair all the way into 2011.
He was also a blacksmith, so
She was offered to buy one.
He was
shoot
out
horses, he tanned leather. He did it all up into about 2013.
He did. We peed on a lot of leather. So, yeah. So literally, I get home, I call her, my sister Karen answers, she goes, yo, you're going to be on West Wing? I was like, what? My mom was outside telling the neighbors that I was going to be on West Wing. I go get her because I'm not going to be with Martin Sheen. I'm going to have a woman with a mullet and a sleeper hold.
He pulled me over and at some point he went, what's with the brown stereo? And I said, I painted brown so it wouldn't get stolen. And he just went, how's that going to stop it from getting stolen? That was he was first level thinking, right? I said,
Yes.
go.
LA's finest.
Go.
They go one layer deep.